morning, everybody. I'm Jack, UI UX designer, illustrator, animator, donut connoisseur. It is super dark here, even though all of our snow has melted here in Ohio, the land of Ohio. But it's still dark in the morning. It's getting there. We're past the point of being in total darkness, winter, and we're slowly getting more sunlight, which I'm here for. Hey Oliver, how's it going? Welcome in, everyone. Oh, hang on, I'm gonna get something pulled up on my other screen. Give me a minute, because I'm slow. Oh my gosh, oh, okay, here we go. Got it. Alright, welcome in everybody. I'm Jack, like I said, and we're gonna be doing, today's stream is gonna be basically my, reaction, I guess. I'm very salty about this. There's this survey going around from a group that's probably very well intentioned. They've even created their own branding for their kind of little organization, and I don't want to, yuck their yum. I think that there's like I said, it's probably well intended. However, as somebody who has experience working with government agencies on design projects, branding projects, I have a little bit of experience in this field, and I think that there's some just kind of I have some thoughts about how they decided to go about doing this. So I kind of want to talk about that. I also want to talk about flag design in general. I think that we did a challenge, an illustrator challenge with Andrew a long time ago making flags, and Andrew did a really good job. You'll have to go. I couldn't find the link this morning. If you go and just kind of look it up, Andrew did a really good job breaking down some of the basic do's and don'ts for flag design. If you want to go check that out, and did a really super simple thing with basic shapes. I think flags are a great way to start designing, because you can just kind of use simple and you should use simple shapes. So yeah, let's just get into it. I just want to get into it. I want to show some things. So we're going to switch over to my desktop here. You can see, if you saw me on social media, my text there. I also have my, I have my, settings from the Illustrator challenges, so everything is enormous. So apologies for my giant interface, or maybe you like it better that way, I don't know. I'm also kind of in the way of my interface. I mean, I probably should be one of those people that either moves myself to the left or moves my windows to the left so that I'm not covering them up. Physically I'm covering up the entire layer panel right now. Anyways, Oliver says, oh, salty stream. Yeah, so I want to talk about this a little bit. But first of all, Tangia, welcome. I want to show upside down at the top left. Yeah, that's probably the best place to put me, to be honest. I often think that the people who don't have a video feed of themselves are doing it right, because then you could it's totally focused on the interface, but you guys would probably get bored if you couldn't see my facial expressions, especially on a stream like today when I'm pretty salty. Anyways, I want to bring up the Illustrator challenges because, and I don't think Kevin is here, but it's the vexillology stream? Is that the art of, or the science of flags? Yeah. Kevin, who's a regular here on, the streams, and, Kevin participates. I'll do a couple. I don't want to show too many. Actually, I'll save some of them. We have a community stream next Friday where we're going to be looking at everybody's work from the challenges. But I've been hosting the Illustrator challenges. They're now weekly challenges for the whole length of a month. So we've been doing branding as a beginning sort of beginning of the year. We're putting together this whole branding presentation. But Kevin put together this beautiful brand that I cannot stop talking about it. I love this brand. There's so much going on here that is just working so well. I'm jealous. I'm kind of jealous of this brand because I think it's so beautiful. First of all, I love the I don't know if you can see it on my screen, but the text is actually it's not black, it's a dark green. And it matches the kind of dark green shadows in the facets of the gem. There's so many good things going on here. I think the fonts here work really, really well. It has like this, I told him that it's got like this very like friendly, it's very elegant, but also feels very approachable, and I think that's just such like a hard line to walk. And I also just love the style of this. I love the style of the emerald. I think that even being such a detailed gemstone, I think that it holds up really well at small sizes because of how I mean, this is like breaking all of the rules that I've talked about the whole time, right? Like, you want your logo to work in one color, and you don't want it to be too detailed. But I think this is kind of like one of those situations where like Kevin knows exactly what he's doing, and is doing it really well here. I think, you know, we talk a lot about like do's and don'ts, which maybe this is contradicting what I'm about to get into with designing flags, but I think if you have intention behind what you're doing, then do it. Like, you can get away with it. I think that this is working. I love the like shorthand version here, with just the emerald bar as the mark. I think that's working really strong. Everything here is really good. I just wanted to show this off because I think it's really beautiful, and I think Kevin deserves kind of a highlight for this one. Yeah, really, really nice stuff. Let me know what you think. So that's from the challenges that I've been doing this month. On to flag design. So, why am I salty? So, I've got sort of, this is just kind of like a template, the correct aspect ratio for a 3x5 foot flag. I don't know what that is in terms of aspect ratio of 3x5. Yeah. So this is just kind of my placeholder. But I want to talk a little bit about, so there's this survey going around that this organization put out to the public to contribute their thoughts about the City of Cleveland flag. And, like I said, I think it's well-intentioned, but I think that some of this is quite problematic. The first question kind of right off the bat is the thing that made me, like, cringe. I don't think this is a good question. I think the intention behind it is good, I just think it's bad. The question is, they're asking the public their opinion on things. Like, this question is, what shapes or symbols do you think best represent Cleveland? Please avoid things such as buildings and sports teams, and please do not include alphanumeric symbols. Now, this is making a pretty big assumption that, like, the people taking this survey are going to have an understanding of how to relate symbols to, like, concepts, right? And so what's going to happen here, what I think is going to happen, is that people are going to put things in, they're going to put in, they're not going to understand what to put down. They're going to put things down like the Guardians of Traffic. They're going to put things down like the Cleveland Browns, because they just don't understand. Like, it's just, this is written from somebody's perspective. Like, I understand what the designer was trying to do here, or the person putting together this question. Like, I know why they wrote it this way. However, I don't think it's the right question. I think it needs to be, this is the question, this is what the designer wants to get, but what they need to ask is more broad. Things like, what, similar to how we did our branding, right? Like, what personality traits do you think represent the city of Cleveland? Or like, what, give them kind of like options to choose from, right? Similar to our branding doc, like, is Cleveland X or Y, right? Though they need to be a lot more generic. You as the designer need to associate those symbols to the personality traits, the feeling of the city. And so I think that asking people to come up with the symbols for you, like, that's the design job of it. I don't think that, like, and I don't want to, like, say that, you know, people cannot come up, you know, the general population isn't going to be able to do this exercise. I think that it's asking too much of a general audience that doesn't understand, like, how to relate a triangle to something, or how to relate, you know, like, that's, you're asking them to do the, like, over the part of the process that, like, is the designer's job. And I don't know if I'm, like, explaining it well, but, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just, I think of triangles that represent Cleveland. I knew there was going to be triangle discussion. I knew it was going to happen. But, like, you know what I mean? Like, this is just too... It was a good start, but it's not a good question. Like, it needs to be... They needed to go one level deeper. And I have the same problem here with the colors. I don't understand what they're going for here. And, like, you could pick... It says select up to 3. Why 3? I don't know. This question is like, these questions baffle me. Honestly. And Ohio has a forked triangle flag. Maybe Cleveland should have a triangle flag. Ohio City has a triangle flag too. There's a lot of triangle flags in Cleveland, or the Cleveland area. Well, Ohio City is like a subset of Cleveland. And we'll get into all of that because there's other things in that as well. But the reason I kind of take issue with this question, and the reason I kind of take issue with this question as well, is a whole nother thing, and that has to do with designing for government agencies. Now, like I said, I have experience doing this, and I can tell you right now, oh, you don't know what the Cleveland flag looks like. Let's get into that. Let's too many things I want to talk about. Let's take a look at the flag so you can take a look at what it looks like. This is what the flag looks like now. And it is not good. I don't know why we have the colors from the French flag in like the exact order, I believe. Also, you know, it's got text in it. You can't read the text. I genuinely don't understand the shield. I even read the article about like this flag's design from Wikipedia. And like, I don't know why they put a shield in it. There's no explanation as to why the shield symbolism is in it. However, this has a really great starting point. Not visually, but like the concept is so good. Let me tell you this. So you can't see it here, but the crux of this... Oh, that didn't make a larger one. Okay. So you see these two symbols at the top. We've got symbols for industry, and we've got symbols for like the natural. So we got like nature versus industry going on here, which I think is such a good concept for the city of Cleveland, right? Like it's so strong. I think it's such a great thing to kind of hang this whole flag on. But the symbols and the colors are the opposite way around to the French flag. Okay, there we go. I knew someone was gonna know the answer. I don't have the French flag memorized, guys. Okay. but like that concept is so good, and it's just kind of like relegated to these two tiny, completely unreadable symbols. I believe it's a hammer, an anvil, a cogwheel. I don't even know what's going on, right? And then over here we've got these oars, and there's an anchor. And this is supposed to be like a wheel for a ship wheel. Anyways, there's too much going on in the little tiny symbols, and it doesn't get the idea across, like in a strong way. And I think the shield's unnecessary, text unnecessary. If you have to tell me that this is Cleveland, you failed when it comes to making a flag. Like if you have to put the word Cleveland on it, the city, no. So there's the crux of the idea, this idea of like Cleveland being a city that is, like Corey said, the emerald necklace of the metro parks. It's kind of like this, it's this unique mix being on the Great Lake and being, you know, a smaller city. Its history is in industry, and it's also like got a lot of like the natural world. So I think this is like those are really strong concepts to kind of like use. I just think that they didn't execute it very well with this flag. So yeah, strong concepts, bad execution. With all that being said, when you're designing, Oliver's saying, is that front cog from a bike gear with legs? Yeah, I don't know what's going on here, honestly. I don't, like, this is supposed to represent industry. I don't know what the bottom portion of this is supposed to be, honestly. It doesn't mention anything about what the bottom is supposed to be. This is supposed to be oars. This one, you can see it. This is supposed to be oars, an anchor, and a ship wheel. I don't even get that from this. I don't know what they're going for. The laurel leaves. I mean, everybody puts, there's certain, like, symbols that get put into all, like, government things, entities, flags, seals, logos, etc. that are, like, the laurel leaves because of what they symbolize. Again, is it necessary to have laurel leaves, or can we make it more focused on Cleveland? Can we tie it back to that emerald necklace idea, which is, you know, sort of what you could get from what they were going for here, but, like, I think they just wanted to put some laurel leaves in because that's what everybody was doing. Is that what it is? It looks like someone stabbed the GitHub logo with some swords. It's... Corey's laughing so hard right now. It's supposed to be oars and, an anchor, but, like, it's so bad, right? Like, it's just, if you can't recognize the concept and the symbols, then, like, again, I don't think this was very successful. Oh, you finally see the anchor. I had to zoom way in for you, yeah. Well, we put our concepts up top, now we're gonna fill in the bottom with something. Yeah, right? So, good kind of backbone, bad execution in my opinion. It's not the flag's fault or the designers. This is like, this flag was made in like the 1800s, the design, and this was just, I think, probably a sign of the times. Flag design, if you look at other flags, city flags, state flags of a similar kind of like time frame, and like, this is just, there was like this bad, like, let's throw everything in the kitchen sink into a tiny little thing in the center and be done with it. Anyways, so, tying it back into this. Oh, Sean's more taken aback by Jack wearing a Beavis and Butthead shirt. I love Beavis and Butthead. What are you, what? Have you ever, I've worn this on, also, hi Sean. I've worn this on the prom jockey events before. I love Beavis and Butthead. I'm a huge fan. Child of the 90s. And, you know, with, parents who, I suppose, enjoyed, Beavis and Butthead. It probably was watching it way younger than I should have been, but, Abdulaziz, I'm so sorry for pronouncing your name incorrectly. Welcome. Sean says, how did I miss it? I don't know, because I've worn this one many times. Anyways, back to my kind of other complaints about this, survey. This question is just kind of irrelevant in my opinion, asking what if people think that like a flag would increase civic pride and unity. I don't know. Like, probably. It's just kind of a weird, it's kind of, I don't know, it's kind of irrelevant. And we get some demographic questions, which are fine. And then where did you find out about this project? It, you know, anyways. The other issue I kind of take with this is that that's just trying to justify the work on the flag. Yeah. The other kind of issue that I take with this is that when you're working on a government project like this, or something that, like the city flag, there's, like, that symbolism, is really important to the, like, you don't want to change that, right? So, it's similar to, like, when you're redesigning a brand that has a lot of, like, brand loyalty, or it's like it's a legacy brand, it's got like symbolism that's important to the client. You need to bring that forward. You can't just like go wild, right? And like destroy the history with that project. And this is something that you kind of like, this is, I think, so important to understanding when you're working on government projects in particular, because the people that you're working with when you're working with a government agency are not designers, right? But this is super important to them, and they want to be involved on a design level, right? They have thoughts and ideas, and you kind of have to like respect that history, and you have to respect it's hard. It's not like you're working with other designers. You're working with, you know, government officials. But anyways, my point being that you can't just go in here and like raise everything and start from the beginning, right? Yes, Corey's saying since you need to try and balance liberal and conservative opinions. Conservatives want to keep old, liberal want something completely new. You have to land somewhere in the middle. That's a good kind of explanation of it, but you have to find a way to like carry some of that legacy forward so that like it's rooted in it's rooted in something from the past, that, you know, the flag and the city's history, but also, you know, has all of the kind of characteristics that make a flag readable. So I think Corey's kind of talking about you know, what makes good flag design. I think that podcast is when you were talking about, Corey. But I wanted to kind of like show this. Now, y'all know I'm from Chicago originally. I would redesign the Chicago flag because I love the city of Chicago. It's my favorite place in the world. But this is beautiful. Like, this is beautiful. And there's symbolism behind each of these sort of like elements, right? The bars represent the like, I guess, quadrants of the city: north, south, east, and west. And the blue represents like the Chicago River, and the stars, they're kind of like unique in that like no other flag has like the 5-pointed stars on there. So there's like a lot of symbolism in this that kind of ties back to the city, but it also holds up really well. Like, it's immediately recognizable, it's unique, it's simple, right? Like, those are all, like, you're gonna be able to recognize this flag. If you were to see this flag out in the wild, I don't know that I would be able to immediately recognize this. I would think that somebody had a French flag, because these bold elements here are the only thing that catch my eye. I'm not looking at whatever's going on in here. It's just too small, too far away, you know. It says Cleveland right on it. Well, right, I kind of mentioned that. Like, if you have to put the name of the city on it, like, you failed. Like, I should be able to just immediately recognize the flag just by its kind of, like, shapes and colors on a like, think of it like a billboard, right? When you're driving past a billboard, you only have, like, a few seconds to catch somebody's attention. I'm not gonna read this, you know? It's too much. There's just too much going on, right? But anyways, and each of those stars, on the Chicago flag, they actually point to specific important city events, like the Chicago Fire, and I don't know all of them offhand, but, that's what that question, right? Like, that's what that question about the flag and the symbols is getting at in that survey, which is why I think it's a good question. It's a good question to ask as a designer. It's a bad question to ask the general population to answer for you, right? There are other questions that you need to ask before that to arrive at the symbols that you need to use to kind of represent these larger concepts that people in the city feel represents the city, right? And there's also a little bit of research you kind of have to do up front about the city. This is not a USA flag. Salad saying, no, these are city flags. Sean said, I guess I didn't even know that US cities had flags. Yeah, states have flags, cities have flags. Generally, city flags, state flags are also terrible because they just take the state seal and slap it on a flag and say, like, here it is, this is what we did. It's super lazy. But, anyways, I'm gonna write out some notes because I want to, like, there's, like I mentioned, you need to kind of do a little bit of research up front before you start to ask these questions to the general public. And this is where I think they kind of, like, needed to take a step back, in my opinion. Don't think their approach is totally wrong. I think there's just kind of we can make some adjustments, right? So, we're talking about the Cleveland flag. And I'm just gonna actually copy this image just straight in here so we can take a look at what we've got going on. Right? So this is the flag. We talked about how there's the, so themes. We'll start with themes. And this is, you know, if you've ever seen my streams, you know this is how I kind of like start the process out here. I'm going to use some bullets here. We're going to go down to regular. So some themes that are going on. We have the natural versus, well, not versus, natural and industrial, right? Meat. We've got a focus on the Great Lakes. So Great Lakes, Lake Erie, water, right? There's an emphasis on the water because that's kind of important, especially since the city itself sits on the lake. Counties in the UK each have their own flag too. San Antonio, Texas has a weird flag, big old star and a vibrating red and blue with line drawing of the Alamo. Yeah, there's some notoriously bad flags, state flags. So I would encourage you to look them up, and I would encourage you to redesign them as well. I think of this as like a little exercise that you can do on your own if you want to. Alright, so we've got natural and industrial meat, Great Lake, Lake Erie, water emphasis, potentially include trees, an emerald necklace, forest city. Those are some kind of like concepts associated with, you know, Cleveland. We're gonna say we want to maybe highlight the Cleveland geography. Right, we've got, let me just kind of show you real quick. See if I can find a map of Cleveland. I want to find something relatively simplified if possible. That's not going to happen. I'm not going to find something simplified. Here we go. It's kind of black and white one. So, this guy here. Right? If you can see this like line running down, this is actually the Cuyahoga River, which runs through Cuyahoga County, and then it kind of comes back up. And so we might want to emphasize that with our flag and how we split the shapes up. So we can say like Cleveland geography, we could say that the runs vertically through the city. So that could be something we could play with. And then, let's see, I'm gonna include some, so let's make I'm gonna make a new group here. So these are some major themes that we can carry through. Crooked River. Oh yeah, there we go, we'll put that in there too. I should have made this, a, area text box. I'm gonna do that. Merge area type. That way I can have this be smaller and not occupy so much space. Okay. Alright, some things we want to leave in the past. We'll just say like don't include. And this just goes for like in general. I'm gonna say no text. That's just kind of like, just don't do it. Just don't have any text. And then I'm gonna say no small symbols, and then we're gonna, that like you can't read, small overly detailed symbols. And then the last thing that I want to say is I'm gonna say ditch the shield. Because I don't even get it. Like, I could not find any kind of, like, why the shield was there. I think, again, and ditch the shield and laurel leaves. I don't get it. I just don't. There's no real meaningful reason to include them. They're just kind of like, everybody else is doing it. Trends of the 1800s. So, let's not carry those dated trends. Far away, the 1796 kind of looks like 17%. Yeah, it does. You know, don't include text. Just don't. Alright, and then let's talk about symbols. We want to have There's the anchor. There's the oars. I'm just kind of making a note of like, what do we have here historically to work with? Extend this down. We got the wheel. I'll say ship wheel. Ship's wheel. I'm gonna say, we've got the weird anvil and hammer. We've got, we could do trees, for like the Forest City stuff. Does the city have an emblem or seal? Yeah. They actually, updated this seal, I feel like relatively recently. Because it used to be real bad. Oh my gosh, come on. I want to get to like the actual article so I can tell you what it's about. Cleveland. Okay, well I guess they just don't have any history on the seal. But it's like a American flag. It's not great, I would say. It just kind of looks like a forever stamp, if I'm being honest. History. Can I get like an explanation? Oh, here we go. The red, white, and blue stripes represent patriotism. That's all I got. Yeah, there's not a lot of information on this, but here's what it looks like. So, generic, patriotic. I wouldn't say there's anything that really relates to the city of Cleveland here. It's not as bad as the flag, but it's also not very interesting. Clip art, yeah, for sure. The other thing that I kind of want to... So we've got some symbols here, right? I'm going to add... or imagery. You can think of this as being like imagery. You know, we've done these kind of notes before. Right, I want to go back up and I want to add another note up here. The other thing that we can kind of touch on, now when I'm coming up with these things, right, I'm looking at like, what is the flag that we currently have kind of rooted in? What are the themes that I'm seeing? What are the things that I can kind of like pull from to make the design feel like it's paying homage to the past while it's more modern? The other thing that I kind of get in general from the city is that they really want to be viewed as, when I think of like industry, I think of like progress. They want to, like, I want to have the idea of like forward momentum or like progress. So we'll put like progress. Forward momentum. And we can kind of encapsulate that by using things like movement lines or let's just say arrows that aren't literal arrows. Right? Maybe there's some kind of shapes in the background that have, you know, triangles are arrows. So I know that that's going to come up. I know that just bring it on. Just bring on the triangles. You know, things that have movement. You know, it's going to be hard. So what am I thinking when I write this down? It's going to be hard to represent, I don't like the idea of using the anvil and hammer. I'm going to be frank with you. I don't really like the anvil and hammer. I don't really like the idea of literal, like, factories. Literal, images of industry. And so if there's some way that I can represent the industrial part of Cleveland as a method of progress, sort of getting into, like, what was... I don't want to get into like Soviet art, but you know, like that, there's like that mural in Detroit that has a lot of like forward momentum. It is very like literal industry, but the way that the mural is like constructed has a lot of movement in it, and if like we can use kind of like shape to show movement and progress that feels kind of industrial, I think that that would probably be a stronger route to go, just because it's a combination of like images of specific things that in particular industry and progress and technology tend to get dated really fast, and they don't like I don't think they look very good. So those are my thoughts on that. Anyways, what other notes do we want to include? I think I want to have a section here of like things that we do want to include. So things that we want to carry over from the flag. What are things that we like from the flag, or things that we can kind of bring along for the ride? I think we can keep the whole like red, white, and blue thing. If we kind of like modify it a little bit. I don't think we go the like super patriotic brick red and like navy blue kind of a thing. I think we kind of like alter the colors. So I think we go with more of like, I think again, kind of, Corey mentioned the Rust Belt earlier on. I think we go with like a red orange or rust color, like not like super like brown rust, because I see a bunch of comments about brown and the Cleveland Browns from Sean and from Clever. I don't really think about sports teams. I don't really get the Browns as a concept, you know. But yeah, it's not, you know, whatever. Sports are not my thing, and I guess if you're into sports, the Browns make sense, maybe, as a name. It's not my jam. I wouldn't be mad if it was mostly blue, green, and rust. Well, we're getting to that. So we got red, orange, and rust, and I think similar to how, if we look at like the, I don't want to like keep bringing it up here. Where did I put the flag of Chicago? Like, this is blue, red, white, and blue, but it doesn't feel like overly patriotic, right? Because of how they altered the blue here. I mean, the red is still pretty red, but if we kind of alter, if we like go with a different kind of like a lighter blue, maybe something that's like a blue green, or something that like a transition from blue to green somehow across the flag to kind of encapsulate the forest. So like lake and forest concept, right? Like, we're trying to capture all these thoughts, and like I guess we could just say this is colors, since it's not really include. But, you know, we can keep the colors sort of that we have, but we could make them feel a little less, you know, American flag, I guess. Because it just feels very like, you know, I don't know, you know what I mean? Like, We've got Paul Brown? I don't know who that is. I'm not following. Alright, so let's see here. Y'all are on about something I cannot keep up with. Seems like a great place to use a beaver. Brown industrious lives in the forest. We don't really have beavers. I mean, that sounds like more of a Canada thing. You know? Alright, so let's see. Where do I want to start? I kind of want to start with colors first, even though, like, I probably shouldn't. So let's just start with our original colors that we don't like. I'm just gonna modify these. We're gonna go down here. Pull this up. I don't think we go like with something kind of like in between. And then for our blue, definitely gonna go lighter. You know, I don't like hate that as a starting point. But we could also go more into the, you know, these colors. Kind of like that. And then as for the white, I'm actually gonna go a different direction for this. Did not align. I'm gonna select both of these, and we're gonna go up. And we could use like a lighter blue, or we can use like an off-white. I think the off-white looks better with this. For this, I'd probably go back to our kind of blue color. Instead. I want it to look dingy. It's kind of like... That's probably where I would start with colors. Alright, you can go over there since I don't really need you anymore. And then, I'm just gonna leave this over here. Right? And let's just kind of start with some concepts. Like I mentioned, we can split this flag kind of vertically in some way to kind of represent the river. I kind of like the idea of it being a transition. Maybe we try it with these colors first. Come over here. Oh, Cleveland has the first stoplight too. And then we'll do like a... Should we do like a wave, or is that too silly? I don't know. Maybe we just go there first. What do we do like... I want it like an organic... Oh, maybe this. Is that how we go? We have like a little bit of that like progress. And then maybe over here we do like a wave type of a thing. Know what I mean? What we do? I have an idea. What if we did like... That's annoying. Maybe not. I feel like if we're gonna add that, it's gotta be like Zolto or something. Gareth's here. Welcome, Gareth. New color scheme: red, yellow, and green. I don't love that. Let's maybe do... I think I need to change these colors around if we're gonna do this. Maybe this is gonna be blue, the blue. Like that. Maps and landscape features often work in flags, trees, water palm. Native palm is hard to include. Potentially, but you know, nothing's off the table quite yet. And let's try... Gosh, I don't want to like only have blue on this, but I'm also tempted to do like a... Let's see. The Cleveland Metro Parks doesn't have what I was thinking it had. Oh yes, it does. It kind of has like these arches for like a tree type of a thing. You know what I mean? I'm thinking. This is my brain going. Wondering how to represent some of the stuff, abstract ideas. Unicorn's here, welcome! Let's try Cleveland native tree. Probably the Buckeye. Let's do, let's see, I'm gonna make a circle. I'm gonna join these. Put this. This sweet swoop of an electric guitar. Maybe it will end up being a different concept altogether. We'll see. I have way too many windows open and way too many screens. Michelle's here. I think I'm missing a lot of people. We got Michelle. I think I missed. Let me scroll up in the chat and double check. I think I saw Megan hop in. Yep. Yeah, happy Friday, everybody. I don't know that I like those shapes. But they do kind of give the idea of progress, don't they? Which I do like. But I think if we're gonna use them, to use them on in a different way, kind of a different concept. Or we do them vertically. Could become like the whole thing. We're just kind of playing with concepts right now to see if we can get anything that kind of like we like the layout of. What am I working on, Jack? Oh gosh. I'm working on a whole thing. I'm working on a whole thing here, Michelle. We're working on a Cleveland flag redesign. That will probably never go anywhere. It's just kind of like my interpretation, you know, my thing. There's a Cleveland flag redesign thing going around, and I went on a whole rant before you got here. If you want to go watch the replay later, about how I'm annoyed with the I'm annoyed with the survey a bit, so I wanted to kind of like do my own variation on it. And so we've arrived here. Me doing my own thing. And trying to figure out what that looks like. I have snap to something on. Yeah, snap to point. Go away, snap to point. feel like if I'm gonna do this, I should do it right and make this look better. Okay. Is it wrong to say I have too much Adobe merch? You tell me. It's a comment from Sean, by the way. I don't really know if this is working, but let's do this. Since I'm having so much trouble getting these to align the way I want it to. I don't know if I like that very much. I feel like if we do this, we have to do something like this in the middle to get the idea across. I don't know if it's working. Yeah, it feels very Pacific Northwest. I agree. I was trying to go for like, I wanted this to look like the tree and like reflections in the water, but it's not really giving that. You know what I mean? So. And like I said, there's like unintentional, but like intentional kind of arrows that we've got going on. Also just kind of looks like a weird signpost, which I'm not a fan of. It's an idea. It's a concept that we could explore. Could be a sunset on the lake. Let's see. Not loving anything so far. So many triangles. Yeah, well, in this case, we need to make use of them because we need to have that forward momentum that I mentioned. In some way, we want to have that come through. So. I need to make this artboard bigger. You know me, I like to occupy a lot of space. I also don't think it's very balanced right now. I mean, I think I need to get a better balance of the two colors going. Which might mean having this be more like this. To have both sides represented a little bit better. I can also try like something like I almost want like a point. And a wing? Can I do that? Maybe a shape like that? This shape could be cool. Maybe it's a little bit too wavy. Corey says the teal and orange are giving Miami Dolphins. I only know that because my brother painted his room those colors as a kid. We could go back to this, like, this blue instead. Or go a completely different blue. Maybe this is more true to the original. I don't know anything about Cleveland. What's it known for? Well, we're leading on the idea of it being, like a mix-up. I've got some themes up here. The original kind of flag concept, which I don't think came through. This is the original flag. The current flag, I should say. The whole concept behind this, as far as I can tell, just from reading up on it, is that it's a mix of Cleveland's like natural and industrial landscape, right? Like Cleveland's known for like its history and industry, but it's also got it's a city that has a lot of like natural elements. There's it's like one of its nicknames was the Forest City. It's got what's considered an emerald necklace, which means it's like surrounded, like the whole city is surrounded by like a lot of like nature preserves and like forest. And then you've obviously got the Great Lake at the top, right? So you've got like a lot of natural elements, like the lake is going to be really important, emphasizing the lake in some way. And also showing industrial, but like in a positive light, not something that's kind of like dated, but like industry is progress kind of a thing. Like how can we show that these two elements represent these two elements, not in these like tiny little dumb symbols that nobody can read. And the example that I gave, which is a pretty well-known flag that people point to as being very well done, is the Chicago flag. It's very immediately recognizable because it's so simple and iconic in that regard. And each one of these elements like ties back to something symbolic of the city, and you know, it's kind of unique. The color palette's unique. They went like it's you know, I made the analogy of like when you're driving down the highway and you see a billboard, that's about how many you have, like a few seconds for somebody to be able to like see the flag and kind of like recognize it, right? It's the same concept here. Like, this is not something that I'm gonna immediately recognize. I said like if I saw this hanging from somebody's house, I probably wouldn't even notice this, or if I did, I wouldn't be able to tell what it was, and I would just think they had some kind of weird French flag hanging from their house. So because the French flag, again, it's very iconic. It's 3 stripes of color and that's it, right? So we're trying to kind of like do something, starting with the large shapes, to capture the essence of the city. I don't know if this is really gonna go anywhere. I just kind of like I had a very viscerally negative reaction to the survey that was sent out, let's just say, about the flag, and I kind of shared my thoughts earlier, but we put together some notes, and I guess I kind of to tie it back in here. This is what I would do first as a designer. If I knew that I was going to be sending out a survey to the general public, I would do all of this work up front and figure out like what are the themes, you know, what are the things we want to carry over from the flag, and then I would ask questions to people. I wouldn't like ask them randomly to tell me what colors, you know, red, green, or purple, you know, the flag represents. I would go with I would narrow in on the questions that I wanted to ask. So, and that's my advice. I think that like the flag survey that went out, I think, for the city of Cleveland was probably well intended, but poorly constructed. Like, it just wasn't very well thought out. I would ask people questions around the themes that I identified from the original flag, the colors that I identified from the original flag, the symbols that I would probably take all that history that's already in the flag and ask questions about that, rather than just kind of like, you know, burn it down to the ground and start from scratch kind of a situation. Like, let's just ask people what kind of shapes they associate with Cleveland, because I don't think that people really, the general population is going to really resonate with that question. They're not going to really know. So that's kind of my thought. But so, and just from experience working with government clients, there's historical elements that they want to keep from. I don't think that this design is rooted in a good concept. The natural and industrial concepts, I think, are really strong and a good representation of the city. I just don't think it's well executed, and I think it could be, you know, kind of stronger, you know? So I think I do like the vertical idea. I think it's pretty unique, and the flag, it's, you know, the original flag is vertical. The Cuyahoga River runs vertically, with maybe a little bit of a dip, so I'm kind of gonna maybe we could play with like this shape. Maybe we go with like more organic shape here that kind of looks like a wave. I'm not sure. You know, this is like let's see where it takes us. Kind of a thing. I don't really like that very much, but we could play with these arrows. This kind of combines these concepts here, right? Let's do that. And we keep just this. And we merge these shapes. And we pull it back down. Or maybe we just use one. No, I don't like that. I don't want it to look like a butt. Always be aware of that in your designs. It's kind of an interesting concept. It also kind of leaves like the C shape at the center, which I kind of like. Let's go ahead and grab our blue. Yeah, don't have no butts in our design. Don't want that. And I'm gonna think about how I want to do this. We could put some kind of like red element over here. Thinking. Oh, also welcome Adobe Live. And thanks to Corey for doing all the links. I'm thinking. What kind of shapes can we pull into this design here? That kind of represent progress. I want to emphasize this kind of like C that we have here, but I don't want it to be cheesy. But we are just kind of playing, so I don't need to worry too much. More triangles for those following at home. Come on, why are you not joining? I think that's a bit too much. Maybe use the letter C to work with the waterways beating to it. I think that's it's an interesting idea. I don't know how we tie it back into like progress over here unless we do like something that kind of carries that momentum from those arrows across, if that makes sense. How terribly late am I? Barbara, you are a little late, but that's okay. Welcome to the stream. Happy Friday. We're working on a flag. It's slow going. It's slow going. As I try to come up with an idea. Hater, welcome. Of how to connect these. I want this side to definitely represent like industry in some way, I think. In a very abstract way. I guess we could just do that. This is probably too abstract. That's C for Chicago. Close, Barbara. Where I actually talked about the Chicago flag during the stream because and how it's like an iconic thing. We're talking about flags. We're working on a flag for the city of Cleveland. We're trying to come up with something that is an improvement over what currently exists. I don't really know that we're having much luck. But we're having fun, and that's all that matters, right? So, yeah, this is the current flag. We don't like it. And the, city... somebody in Cleveland has sent out a survey about the new flag, which I talked about, at length at the beginning of the stream, but now I'm not a fan of that kind of approach, but regardless, we're trying to kind of we're making some, you know, very early days designs here, kind of based on these concepts. Themes, things we don't want to include, colors, and some symbols from the original flag that we may want to reference. We're just coming up with ideas right now. Nothing's really set in stone. We've tried some trees, tried some different colors. You can continue to kind of explore different colors. I'm not set. Nothing is set in stone, and we're just trying different things right now. My shape might not actually be symmetrical. I don't love this idea. I don't love the... Feels very, like, obvious to me, but... Clever saying, these are great starts. Kids do some radial shapes with the gear. Potentially, yes. I think I prefer the, I think I prefer the vertical, just because I think, I like the idea of it being, the river, the direction of the, following the direction of the river. I think it's important to kind of bring it back to the geography, and it also will kind of like set it apart. I think this is a lot more unique than this one. Even though this one's probably more obvious. And I also like, again, like the left to right arrows idea. So this one tends, I think, is probably my favorite so far. This kind of direction. I don't know. Splitting it that way. Debar, welcome. MD Esmail, let me know how to pronounce your name. Welcome. I feel like, let's grab this. I feel like this could work in our off-white as well. Paste. This. Group this. Center it on here. Obviously I need to reorient this shape. I'm always thinking about alignment when I'm doing this. Like where, making sure that certain things line up. Nope, wrong one. There we go. If we go this route, the C definitely has to be as such. I keep wanting this to have like a, to look like a reflection in some way, and I don't know how to do that. I'm struggling. Maybe it's like, I feel like this is what I just did before. I'd have to get like smaller. Don't know. However, saying one struggled with vectors, it was long ago, and I love Illustrator now. You were the second person to mention that to me today. Kevin, whose work I was showing off earlier, said that the first time they opened up Illustrator, they wanted to close it after like 10 minutes. Which is fair. I know that's sort of not like immediately it's different than like Photoshop, and I think that kind of throws people off. Amet, welcome. Josie, welcome. I don't know, y'all. We've tried different tree shapes. I'm just giving myself kind of a starting point. Well, we could just do like abstract tree. I don't think it works. Oh man. Pepper said radial repeats. What if we do like do this vertically first. Let's start with our shape here. A little diamond. Merge this. Alright, come on. Merge. Alright, what's going on here? Let's make sure everything is correct. Make sure we don't have duplicate points. Okay. Object, repeat, radial. Come on. Okay, well that's not what I wanted you to do. We're gonna do... Gosh, how am I gonna do this? I want to like have it go around. Let's draw the circle. Reference here. Let's grab this. I'm gonna group it. Holding down Alt or Option. 360 divided by what do we want here? 1, 2, 6. There we go. Bam. That's what I wanted. It's like compassy. It's sort of tree-like. You know, we could pull these paths down. And now we've got a tree. You can see it. Is this supposed to represent lake effect snow? I mean, if the shoe fits, I guess it could be snow. I mean, that's the thing about this stuff, is like you can find so much meaning in shapes. There's, you know, definitely the snow, definitely like getting some tree vibes. I don't know. Like, I just wanted to create something. Honestly, in creating the shape, I was trying to get those arrows again, like those pointy things. And also, Clever's idea of having it be a gear, but also have it be kind of like a tree. So I'm like, this is like a culmination of all those kind of thoughts. You know, I don't know if it's like the right imagery. It's just an exploration. You know, we might even be able to get like a C out of this. Or something. We just kind of... Let's see. Yeah, Corey, everybody heard you sneeze. Maybe this becomes a stripe. Like this like bleeds off. Here. I'll get there. We'll get there. We'll get my idea. Across. Let's take this concept here. Let's copy this one. Let's have this be the center here. Actually, I want to leave it big. I want to leave this big. We'll get rid of this. I don't know. Maybe it doesn't work. Let's have this go this way. Progress this direction. It's interesting. You know, another exploration, another idea. this could also just become the center of our design. And we could, like, split the difference in terms of the colors. These are maybe red. These are maybe blue. Let's do white. Maybe both sides become something different. I don't know. We're just experimenting right now. Oh no, that has so many odd things going on. It's giving like Norwegian sweater, which I'm not here for. Honestly. I don't know. Clever doesn't like it. Clever's not a fan. It's like a French snowflake. Well, it did look like a French flag originally, so maybe we're onto something there. Skip the Millennium Falcon version. This? I mean, it's, yeah, I just threw it up there. It's not gonna be our final concept, that's for sure. It was an experiment to see if we could get that, like, C shape with that weird snowflake shape / tree. So, yeah, no. You know, I might be tempted to switch this, just because this has the way that the colors are. So, it should go the other way. I still just like this idea. This one. But I feel like it needs something else. I don't know. Like a bad medical procedure. Well, we don't want that. That's for sure. I don't think this is working. This doesn't really show off the letters well. I like this one too. Not sure if it needs anything else. I mean, potentially not. Looking at our concept. Green? Well, I had this originally in the greenish color, and Corey was like, nah, it looks like the Miami Dolphins. And so I was not touching that one. BMX racing in the slanty stripes. I keep trying to make the tree happen. Pull it down a little bit more with the light. This is gonna look wild for a minute. This would be a lot easier to deal with if I was using swatches. Oh my gosh, come on. Let's add this as a swatch. My mouse is like, we're done here. We don't want to anymore. Okay. Now we can adjust this to our heart's desire. Hello, Caroline. We could just extend this out and have it fill the space. Come on, smart guides. Nope, not gonna happen. There's too many things for it to snap to right now. It's having a hard time. Just looks kind of, I don't know what I'm getting from that. Even though it's made of simple shapes, the snowflake feels a bit too complex. The Chicago flag is literally 2 stripes and 4 stars, and it's hailed as one of the best city flags in the US. We don't like the snowflake. Corey doesn't like the snowflake, y'all. Now it just looks like a present, like I've just wrapped it. That made you laugh, that's good. Yeah, I don't know. I'm worried that, like, I don't think, this is one of those situations where, like, I don't think they would go for this, because it is such a simple design. I feel like they'll be like, nah. You know what I mean? Like, I know that this isn't like a client project or real or anything like that. I just, you know, I'm always trying to think like, you know, I don't think they would actually go for it. Ultimately. It doesn't have any kind of like symbol to arc it on. Which is why I felt like this was a stronger direction, but I don't know. We are coming up on our time to end for today. So I might have to set this one aside. Is that the kind of trees that are, I don't know, rather than, oh yeah, like not a pine tree. I was going for not a pine tree. Which I think not pine trees. I think like oak trees and the sort are more native to Ohio rather than, you know, pine. But, you know, nonetheless. Yeah, I think we're gonna be done for today. I hope this was a fun stream. Definitely a little bit different. You know, I don't know if I'll revisit this and like actually finish it out, come up with a finished project. I mostly just wanted to like share my thoughts with you on flag design and we're, you know, things to consider when working with I wanted to have a rant, Corey says. Yeah, I wanted to have a rant. I wanted to just kind of like be like it's frustrating when like the idea itself like it is good behind like redesigning the flag. Yes, we should redesign our flag. Our flag sucks. But there's just not a lot of consideration, and I don't think this is a group of people that's like worked with. Doesn't seem like a group of people has worked with government entities before and understands that, like I said, usually there's a lot of history rooted in those kind of organizations and in these kind of like city flags, and so you have to just kind of be careful about how you tackle the project. You want to be able to kind of like point to those elements and those themes that the stuff was originally based on to make sure that you're paying proper homage and keeping those classic elements while also modernizing it. That's really what it's about, right? If you look at most modern flags, like Corey said, they're usually very simple. You know, don't include text. Don't include these really small, impossible to read icons. You want it to be immediately recognizable. But you can't like completely kill off the whole thing and just be like, let's go make this, you know, completely different. So anyways, talking about the ocean has not been enough of a rant. Are we talking about the ocean? Oh, how I don't like the ocean? Yeah. I mean, I don't have any personal problem. I don't have a problem with the ocean. It's just, my whole thing is that, like, I am not, like, I will never be a scuba diver. For those of you wondering about the ocean comment. I feel like I'm of the mind that human beings, do not breathe underwater. Everything in the ocean's trying to kill us, including the ocean itself. And so I avoid it. I avoid it because it's like, I don't know. You know, that's my thought. Sean says, here we go. Yeah, I don't have a problem with the ocean. I don't think humans are meant to be in it. If we were, we would live in it, and we don't. Because we would die. Because we can't breathe underwater. And also, everything is trying to kill us. And this whole thing came from the fact that, like, we were talking about during the prompt jockey events that, like, there's, like, those little, like, jellyfish, right? That are, like, practically invisible, and they're super small. And they can kill you if they, like, touch you. You know what I mean? There's so much in the ocean that's, like, if this touches you, you'll die. And I just, like, I can't even see underwater. Like, how am I gonna know if I'm gonna step on one of these toxic jellyfish? Like, I can't see it. Whereas things on the land, it's like, I can see it. It's usually, like, rainbow colored, right? Like, you know, like, very, like, danger animal, don't touch me. Not in the ocean. Not in the ocean. That's my rant. Is like, I don't know. It's not for me. I know there's lots of people that like exploring the ocean, like seeing the, you know, like, but I respect the ocean from a distance. Box jelly. Yeah. Is that the thing I'm thinking of that's like invisible? Anyways, we're not gonna get into a rant about the ocean. And the same with like lakes. The lakes are the same. For me, like, there's like brain-eating parasites and stuff that like are in the water. Like, you could just die by swimming. Just if one of those happens to, like, you know, yeah, Caroline, like sewage and stuff like that. Like, I don't want anything to do with that. I don't want anything to do with that. That doesn't sound like a fun time. So, yeah. Michelle says I don't like swimming in the ocean either. There are worse things in the sea around the UK. It's full of sewage. Yeah, that's what I mean, Caroline. It's not for me. if it's for you, and simply drowning is far more likely. Yeah. What about rivers? Yeah, it's all the same. Bodies of water are usually heavily polluted. There are, amoebas, microorganisms, parasites, leeches, jellyfish, lots of things. There's lots of ways to die in the ocean. Anyways, more power to you if you are a swimmer and you enjoy that life. It's just not for me. It's not my cup of tea. Barbara says agreed, especially Lake Michigan. Yeah, a lot of the Great Lakes have not a very outdated, we'll just say water management systems, but that are just not capable of managing the modern day amounts of stormwater runoff and stuff like that we get today. So not your cup of tea, indeed. Yeah. Oh, Michelle went snorkeling once and got a panic attack because the sea was so deep. Yeah, that's the other thing, is you have to be careful when you're going scuba diving and stuff like that because of the pressure change. So I don't know. This is yeah. What do I have to tell you? We've got the last challenge this Thursday. If you want to, this Tuesday. Oh my gosh, getting my days mixed up. So I won't be streaming this weekend. Again, I guess. This will be the only stream this week, unless I do a surprise stream. We'll see, but more than likely not. And if we do, it'll just be more flags. But next Tuesday will be the last challenge in our set for this month. And then next Friday, we have an hour-long community day, which should be a lot of fun. We're going to be looking at everybody's work. I'm going to be going over the presentation. We'll go over, putting it together. We'll go over, some sort of tips about, client feedback. We'll talk about, taking a branding presentation from, a final branding presentation to a, library or, a brand library that you can give to your client. We're going to go over a bunch of stuff. And we're, of course, going to answer any questions that you all have. So, next Friday will be an hour-long stream. We'll just be working together, looking at some stuff, going over any questions that you have. Should be a good time. But Tuesday will be the last challenge. And we're going to be looking at mock-ups, so that should be a lot of fun. And then during the week, also Monday through Thursday, we have the Firefly events in the Firefly Discord that Sean and I do. Start time, I think for both of them, it's gonna be, let me double check, but I think they're both at 9:30 a.m. Pacific. I think they're just keeping them consistent. I can give you the time in a second, because I don't think they're up yet on the schedule. So I just want to make sure. Yeah, so 9:30 a.m. Pacific on January 30th. And then I should have the other one. Oh my gosh, I gotta find it. And tell you what time it is. Because I have it, but I don't have it's not on the, double live schedule yet. Okay, on Friday, February 2nd, it will be 11 a.m. Pacific. So 9:30 a.m. on Tuesday and 11 a.m. Pacific on Friday. And then lost my train of thought. The Firefly events are 8 a.m. Pacific, Tuesday through Thursday. So, lots of times that I just threw out, yeah. But the Firefly Discord events are in the Firefly Discord. The other two are on Adobe Live. So, if you go to behance.net/live, for those of you that don't know, you can. That's the old live channel, live link. So if you go to behance.net/live, that's where you'll see the Adobe Live schedule, and you can kind of scroll through it if you were curious. I know that not everything is don't think everything's up yet. Or if you go to the Adobe Live YouTube, you can see the schedule there. Thank you, Corey. But that's gonna be it for me. I don't at least probably potentially for this weekend. Probably for this weekend. This was the only planned stream I had this week. I was trying to make it easy on myself. And but I want to do a quick shout out to the people in the chat. I know that we had 2 streamers. We had Umacorn and we had Sean join us. So be sure to check out Umacorn and Sean's work. Umacorn streams on the weekends, Sean streams during the week, and I do a little bit of both. So it's always a surprise. I've been playing around with these morning streams, which it seems like everybody likes. I know I think Clever just said love the Friday early stream, so it'll probably be a permanent rotation along with my weekend streams. I haven't had much time to do the weekend streams lately because I've just been so like busy during the week that I've been keeping all the streams during the week and then trying to get caught up on all of my like life stuff and freelance stuff on the weekends. Stuff that I can't stream or stuff that, you know, I don't think anybody wants to watch me live stream going to the grocery store. But yeah, thanks everybody else for hanging out as well. We had Abdulaziz, Ahmet, Babar, Barbara, always nice to see you, Barbara, and Caroline, and Clever, all the usuals, Corey, Debar, Gareth. It was nice to see you, Gareth. You've been popping in a lot more recently. Hater, Josie, Katarina, okay, real photos. I'm sorry, some of you might not have said hi or I didn't see you, so, hi and bye to some. Maz, Andy, Ismail, Megan, Michelle, Oliver, Saad, Sean, Angel, and Umacorn. Alright, what's for dinner with Jack? Yeah. I mean, don't joke. Corey used to live stream cooking, so we're not incapable of. We are capable of streaming cooking in our house. We have the lights, we have the camera set up. You know, I just don't think that Behance would appreciate a cooking live stream. We did it once, yeah. We did it once with the first Crock of Time sticker stream. Where Corey cooked. There was like a Corey cam and a Jack cam where Corey cooked, made donuts actually while I worked on stickers. So, yeah, Clever, we're not gonna do a supermarket. What was that show called? Supermarket Dash or something like that? The game show. So, it's still a creative stream. It is still a creative stream. It's just, I will tell you in all honesty that doing that kind of, like doing a cooking stream, it's a lot of work. I'm stationary. I'm sitting at my desk, you know, with like, and I'm just streaming when I'm working out on my computer. When you are streaming a cooking thing, you have to have multiple cameras. You have to have multiple lights. It's a lot. It's a lot more of a production. But we have done it before, so. Yeah, McCorn wanted one of those donuts. I think Corey, you posted the recipe on Crock of Time. If you don't know, speaking of, I should probably do a shout out. I've got links to Yoann Turpin's music, which is playing in the background, and for my intro and outro. And then I've also got links to Corey and Nick and all the mods. The project, because all the mods have their own projects. So there's a link to Corey's Crock of Time website, which is where you can find the donut recipe, if you were so inclined. And Asim, I'm so sorry. I know you just joined, but I'm just about to hop off. I know that Adobe Live is starting soonish. I think they're starting at... Oh no, I take that back. Maybe they don't start until 1. Let me double check. I thought they started at noon. Yeah, so I'm gonna hop off, but Adobe Live Creative Mad Lib starts at noon my time, so it's like 2 hours from now. An hour and 45, yeah. Oliver's saying an hour and 45. Creative Mad Lib starts. That's a lot of fun. That's with Val and Cody. And they put together a little like a sentence prompt. And they ask the chat to provide like they'll do like a survey and ask the chat what like adjectives. Like they did a whole fairy tale thing last week. So yeah, just come check it out. That'll be a lot of fun. And there's a bunch of streams now on Fridays. Doc Reed is streaming today. which should be a really cool stream. A very knowledgeable illustrator putting together the case study, which I know is like another one of those like eat your vegetable type streams where it's like people, it's you know, like maybe not like something people immediately think of as being fun, but it's actually super important if you want to get clients. So be sure to check all the good streams out we got today on Adobe Live, and then come back next week, Monday through Friday, for more Adobe Live and more of me. Alright, I'm gonna get off now. I hope you have a great weekend and a start to your week next week, and I hope I see you next time. I hope I see you at the challenges on Tuesday. We're gonna be working on mock-ups. And then on a Friday for our community hang. Alright, bye everyone!